We've got breaking news out of the NFL. Jets linebacker Haason Reddick has requested a trade. That's been confirmed by our Jonathan Jones. The news comes just over 4 months after New York acquired the former All-Pro linebacker from Philadelphia for a conditional third-round pick. Reddick's been holding out since training camp. Did not play in the Jets' preseason opener Saturday against the Commanders. Our lead NFL insider reporting no contract talks have been held between his camp and the Jets, leading to this request, as Reddick has just 1 year remaining on his current deal, making $15 million this upcoming season. And joining us now with the breaking news is Lige Douzable. Duz, what are you thinking? What's your instant reaction to learning about the news?
Tommy, my Jets just can't have a quiet offseason. That's my initial thought. But there's so much to break down with this Haason Reddick and him asking for a trade. One, Tommy, this has to be a record for a player asking for a trade from multiple teams in one offseason. But two, Haason Reddick knows that he has a bit of leverage with the New York Jets, right? This is a scenario where he wants a new deal. That's why he asked for the trade from the Philadelphia Eagles. I know a lot of people are asking, well, if the Jets knew when he requested a trade he wanted a new deal, why wasn't a deal put in place? And you see his production right here. Look at what he's done, right? 4 consecutive seasons, Tommy, with 10-plus sacks. Matter of fact, I'll go even further. He's had 50.5 sacks the last 4 years. There's only 3 other players that have had more. Trey Hendrickson, you look at also Myles Garrett, right, and T.J. Watt. Those 2 top guys were Defensive Player of the Year. So that lets you know what Haason Reddick means to a guy, as far as a guy rushing the quarterback and getting after him. And then look at the pay between the guys that I just mentioned and Haason Reddick. He is grossly underpaid. Some of the top edge rushers are making upwards of $28+ million now. So I think Nick Bosa's around $35 million. So if you're Haason Reddick, yes, you're about to turn 30 years old, but you're still doing it at an elite level. So as a player, the one thing you can do when you're going through a negotiation is refuse to play. Hold back your services. That's the only leverage you essentially have as a player, and that's essentially what Haason Reddick is doing. Didn't show up for minicamp, didn't show up for training camp. Now, he's accruing a lot of fines, so it's interesting because, and look, Tommy, right there, he ain't got no worries. He got the samurai sword. He's cosplaying in Japan. He knows what he brings to a football team. But again, he's accruing all these fines. That is the interesting thing. Even if he does get paid, we saw this play out with Chris Jones last year. A lot of the money that he got, even though the Chiefs kind of changed up his last year of his deal, a lot of that went to fines. So essentially the same thing would happen with Haason Reddick right now because the fines he's accruing. I think that's the leverage that the Jets are trying to use right now. Even if they were to tweak his last year of his deal, and I think that's something that ultimately will happen with Haason Reddick and the Jets, he's going to accrue so many fines that all the money that he would have made will go to the fine. So this is a scenario that I think plays out. Hopefully it doesn't go all the way to week 1. Again, this has to be a record for a player requesting a trade, not from one team, but from a second team as well.
Yeah, that video of Reddick's probably going to be a little bit better than Chris Jones at McDonald's last year when Chris Jones was waiting to get paid, which he did, by the way. Flip side, an organization you know well. Structurally here, how much does Joe Douglas take in terms of responsibility for what's taking place?
Definitely, I can tell you Jet Nation isn't happy about this, Tommy, because the biggest thing they were saying was you didn't re-sign Bryce Huff, who was a young emerging talent. He went to the Philadelphia Eagles. You traded John Franklin Myers, who was one of the most underrated stars on that defense. And everybody thought you were doing that so you could pay a guy like Haason Reddick, and you didn't pay him yet. So that's the big question mark. If you know anything about Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator, and Robert Saleh, this defense is based off the defensive line creating havoc, right? And Haason Reddick is one of the best closers in the game. They need him to be that closer because Bryce Huff essentially was that for them last year. He was their guy that came in on 3rd down and got after the quarterback and had 10 sacks. Well, Haason Reddick takes it up a notch because he's not only one of the best guys getting after the quarterback, he's one of the best guys taking the ball off the quarterback. I believe he has the most forced fumbles forced in the last 4 years. So when you're talking about a guy in Haason Reddick that can close out games, especially if you think Aaron Rodgers is going to be healthy, the Jets should have a lead. You need a game closer, and that's who Haason Reddick is. So I think a lot of Jet Nation is mad that this deal didn't get done, and GM Joe Douglas is probably going to take most of the brunt for this.
Lige Douzable with the breaking news. Haason Reddick requesting a trade from the New York Jets. Do certainly appreciate it. A reminder about the first week of the NFL season on CBS and streaming on Paramount+. Notable games include Arizona at Buffalo, Jacksonville at Miami, and Vegas at the Chargers.
And
this just in out of the NFL, where the New York Jets have announced they will not be honoring Haason Reddick's trade request. General Manager Joe Douglas releasing a statement on the matter just minutes ago. Douglas saying, quote, "We have informed Haason that we will not trade him, that he is expected to be here with his teammates, and that he will continue to be fined per the CBA if he does not report. Since the trade discussions back in March, we have been clear, direct, and consistent with our position. Our focus will remain on the guys we have here as we prepare for the regular season. The New York Jets will take on the Carolina Panthers this week, week 2 of the preseason."